Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. So before I go to work tonight, which is pretty soon, I am going to try to make my pandesal. I've been trying to make tweaks to it, adding a little bit more sugar, a little bit more butter. This morning I did make it and I filmed it and I had everything done, and I realized I added too much butter. I was gonna try to follow a recipe, and that's what happened. So I had the butter set aside and I added it, and not realizing I'm not gonna use that recipe anymore. I'm gonna use my own. So here's my second attempt of the day to make pandesal, and hopefully this one comes out right. So hopefully you like the pandesal that I'm gonna cook today, and if you do, please like and subscribe and even make the pandesal. All right, so first thing first, I am going to put a quarter cup of warm water together with a cup of warm milk. I prefer a little bit warmer than just lukewarm. It seems like my yeast rise better that way. It feels warmer to my own temperature. At least that's what works for me. Okay, so then I'm going to take a tablespoon and a half of active dry yeast, and this is the one I got from Costco. It's a big bag. I don't think I'll ever finish it. Then I'm gonna take a tablespoon of sugar. So the sugar I buy is like an all-natural sugar. It's not pure white. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of like, I don't know, sugar cane color. And I'm gonna add a tablespoon of that. I'm gonna mix it, and I'm gonna set that aside. 3.5 cups of flour. Take a spoon, scoop the flour so it's not compact, right? So I already did 3 cups. I'm gonna do a half cup more, level that right off, and that's gonna be my 3.5 cups. Because I am using butter with salt in it, instead of using the full teaspoon of salt, I'm just gonna literally take maybe, I would say a pinch of salt, just a little bit, about this much, it's not a lot. Add that to my flour. Gonna mix that. Otherwise, if you use unsalted butter, then I would add the full teaspoon of salt. Next, I add 4 tablespoons of butter, and like I said, this is salted butter. Put that in there, and this is softened. I left it on the counter. So I already put 1 tablespoon of sugar into my flour. I need a total of 5 tablespoons. Light brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of that. And then I'm gonna add 2 more tablespoons of the natural sugar. Actually, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 inside the flour. I like to just mix this up before I add it to the flour. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now I'm gonna mix everything into the bowl. My flour and my salt here. I'm gonna add the butter. Now, I'm not a baker, I'm not a chef, so I don't know if this was supposed to go in first or the milk. Usually, when I see people make pandesal, they just kind of like dump everything in. Okay, so now I'm gonna add, I would say half of this. You see how like the yeast, it really poofed up? I'm gonna add half of that just to mix this. I'm gonna add a little more. Oop. I'm making a mess. I'm gonna add the rest of the yeast mixture. Okay. I don't knead this by hand. I knead it by with my stand mixer. I like to feel the dough too, because sometimes it feels like it needs more water or it needs more flour. Hold on. And I think this might need just a little bit more water. It feels a little dry. So I'm gonna add a tablespoon of warm water. You always like kind of want to feel the dough. I'm sure some doughs will be more dry than others, but this one, it's like tacky to the touch, but not really, it's not supposed to really stick. And I feel like it needs a little bit more water, so I'm gonna add another tablespoon. Actually, I'm gonna add half. So it's a tablespoon and a half. Let's see. Yeah, it's really wet now. Good thing I didn't add the full second tablespoon. All right, so it's gonna go in the stand mixer. All right, so I'm gonna put it in the stand mixer now. My stand mixer, I don't feel like it needs well, but usually it takes more than 6 or 7 minutes. I don't do the window pane test. I do close to it, but if you want to really be perfect, then do the window pane test where you stretch the dough out, or the dough should stretch out till it's really like a fine window pane where you can see through the dough and see through your hand and not have the dough break. So this is gonna go in. Let's see how long my stand mixer needs the dough to close to what I need it to be. All right, so I'm gonna put it to the low setting. Okay, let's see. It still breaks a lot. You see, it's been kneading for 10 minutes. I don't like this stand mixer. I want to get the Bosch mixer. It's just a little pricey. I'm gonna knead it for a couple more minutes and that's it, because I do have to let this rise. It's not gonna be the full hour like I want it to, but at this rate, I'm never gonna bake this bread. So maybe a couple more minutes. I think this is as good as it's gonna get. It does stretch a little bit more. Can you see that? It does stretch more. It's close to the window pane test, but it still breaks. I'm just gonna go with it. It's coming out of here. I have a bowl. It's greased with some oil. I have actually light olive oil in here, and I don't know why I put too much. I'm gonna have to take some of that out. Okay, and take our dough. It's actually smooth enough for me. But again, if you can knead it a little longer till it gets that window pane test, you can stretch it out more, but I don't have the time. I'm gonna put it into a ball. I turned my oven on to 200 degrees for about a minute just to keep the oven warm. That's what's gonna help raise the dough. Into the oven, it's supposed to be for an hour, rising for an hour. I don't have the time. I'm gonna see how it is in 30 minutes. Optional to have on top of the pandesal is breadcrumbs. I didn't have any plain breadcrumbs, but I do have stale toast from this morning. And I'm just gonna crush it or just beat it up with the end of a utensil here. Crushing it this way. So let's see, it's been about 25 minutes and it's not double, but I am gonna knead it again and I'm gonna let it rise for a full half an hour, maybe even like 40 minutes. So it has risen some. I'm just gonna try to get the air out of it. And then I'm going to divide this into 15 pieces. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, yes. 15 pieces. It does have a good amount of stretch already. You see that? You can't see the whole entire thing, but here, let me see if I can pick the camera up. This is the dough right here, and it only was rising for 25 minutes. This is really, really long. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's about half, right, so far? Ooh. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I am a little bit short here. I have to do another cut. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. If a piece of the dough is too big, I'm just going to cut it off and put it into another piece. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Yeah, I can feel the ends are going to be smaller. Okay, let me cut some of this, put it here. The middle ones are usually a little bit bigger. I could weigh this. I don't want to. Okay, so we're going to add the breadcrumbs. I'm going to put whatever breadcrumbs that I made. Here is the one that I crushed from the old toast from this morning. So my hands are wet, and I'm just going to go over right on top of the dough. Just to get them a little tacky for the breadcrumbs. I'm going to dry my hands, and here's the dough that I have here in the bowl. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough breadcrumbs, but I'll do what I have. I'll use what I have. Okay. And I find that this is easier this way when I put, I wet my hands and I put it on top of the water on top of the dough. I find it easier that way than individually. Okay, getting there. And this has to rise for an hour, but I don't have the time. And the way it's going to come out is the way it's going to come out. But on paper, you have to let this rise twice and about an hour each until basically it doubles in size. So I'm going to let this rise. I think I only have about half an hour because I have to let it cook and I have to get to work, and that is life, but we'll make do. So let's cover this up. Back in the oven to let it rise because it is warm in here. I don't use saran wrap on top. I just find it to be just like wasteful. So I just put it like a moist towel over the bread, over the dough. So if you haven't watched my other video, I am a full-time night shift nurse. I am currently dressed, about to go to work in 20 minutes. But I wanted to show you the pandesal that's been rising. It's only been rising for about 35 minutes, and it looks like it's just almost ready to bake. I did preheat the oven, or I just started preheating the oven to 350, and I'm gonna bake that to 15 minutes on 350. All right, so this is the pandesal that's been rising. I don't want to move it. I feel like I'm gonna deflate the air in it, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But not bad for only 35 minutes. I did put the oven on at 200 degrees for about a minute, and I literally touched it on the bottom of the oven so it can get warm. And that's how, for me, that's how it rises fast. Okay, it's ready to bake. I'm gonna put it in the oven now. And that's gonna bake for about 15 minutes. If you notice the top getting too brown, then just put a foil on top of it. Pandesal is something that we have for breakfast. You can drink it with coffee, dunk it in the coffee. I remember as a kid, that's what I used to do. My mother would let me dunk my pandesal in the coffee, and it tastes really, really good. You can also put it into sandwiches. My husband likes to put it with some corned beef, and that would be a sandwich, corned beef and pandesal. It's a little on the sweet side, and also depending how much sugar you put in it. I put 5 tablespoons. So I've noticed that the longer it rises, if I notice it rises too long, I feel like the yeast eats up the sugar and it becomes like sour instead of sweet. So I don't let it rise for more than an hour. Pandesal is done with one hand, and try not to burn myself. Wow, it came out so good considering it did not rise the full amount. So this thing is still very hot, but I am gonna take a piece. This one looks like it came out the best, the color I mean, and this one too. I did turn the tray halfway around or halfway through cooking, but it's still cooked more on one side. We'll get the small one here, and I'll share that with my husband. So here's my husband. Hi. I'm gonna have him taste the pandesal. That looks so delicious. And he's gonna let us know how it tastes. It's good?
Mm.
Is it store quality? What do you think? And now it's my turn.
Put some ham and cheese.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. So it cooked for 15 minutes. I think you can cook for like another 2 minutes. Because it's a little bit moistened inside. And I feel like it can cook a little longer. 15 to 17 minutes. I did have it on the middle rack. So I'll link down, or I'll put the recipe down below, and this is, again, my own. I did tweak it. You do have to feel the dough as you're mixing it. I feel like that's really important. You want it a little sticky, but you don't want it to stick to your fingers. Like it should still come off the bowl, but you want it a little moist. You don't want it too dry. My husband's gonna make a sandwich out of it. Ham and cheese on pandesal. Alright guys, I hope you really like this video. I enjoyed making it. If you subscribe and you like my video, I will keep making videos for you guys. So thanks for watching. Have a good night.